Hello, Tara.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And yourself?
I'm really well. Well, better now that I'm speaking with you.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for accepting and thank you for your wonderful story that you shared with me recently that I published on Self-Made Girl Boss. I totally loved it. I loved the way you said, you went through obviously a little bit about your childhood, saying you had a lovely, pleasant one, and that you were always very, around your grandmother. But what I
Yeah.
loved about what you said is that you wanted to not just be a fashion designer, but you wanted to be a fashion house and help other people accomplish their dream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass over the invisible mic and you can tell us who you are, what you do, and where you are.
Okay. Well, my name is Tara Courtene, and I'm a fashion designer, content creator as well. So I'm on the socials a lot, the YouTube, doing my thing here. Um, yeah, well, not you can say self-made because I
That's
work
why
for
you're on
myself.
here. You're a self-made girl boss.
Yes, I work for myself. I do everything on my own. I don't have a team at all, which is why I want to have a team, but not only that, like create something where it's like family, because a lot of the times I've been around people who are in the industry and it's very cold, like it's not a warm place. It's not somewhere where you want to be. It's cutthroat. So I wanted somewhere like an environment that's, pleasant because I enjoy what I do, but when your environment is toxic, then you don't want to be there. So, yeah.
It's very, very true. I think that especially when you are in a creative industry, and I know this because obviously, I have a company called Monaco Interiors. And I was actually just saying before you came on that I came across a quote that I actually posted on our page about how, fashion and interior design really is very similar. It's just
Yeah.
that it's in different kind of worlds, but it operates very similar.
Yeah.
And when we are creating designs, I work alongside with my sister. And as you know, siblings can sometimes, and
Yeah.
we have our moments, and then when that happens it really does kill our creativity because we're now stressed about an issue or having to resolve it. And it's really important, and that's family, so we're gonna squash that in no time at all. But when you're actually dealing with other people and the industry can indeed become very intense, if you no longer start enjoying it, then you really do have a problem. But this goes with anything that we do, right? If we don't enjoy it, how is it
Yeah.
going to grow?
Exactly. Exactly. And I feel like if your environment sets the mood for everything, because it can kill your creativity, it can kill your desire to be there, to even continue in the industry. And I've seen a lot of people who just gave up their dream, because of an environment. So, yeah.
So tell me about you. How did you get into the fashion world?
Okay. Well, like I said in my story, my grandmother used to do this. She used to work in the factories, back in the day, sewing for all the big companies. And then she eventually she like branched out on her own, started doing her own thing. And I used to be around her all the time. So I used to watch her. I used to be in her, like her sewing room, and I used to watch what she's doing. And I took an interest in it. So from a young age, I'd say, let's say maybe 16, I knew that I wanted to study fashion, and I chose subjects accordingly. So at school, I chose subjects and, eventually went into it. So I knew exactly what I wanted to study after school. And then I studied fashion. And then while I was studying, that's when I actually started my own thing, my label. It was actually just to make a little bit of side money, because as a student you struggle. So I wanted to, make some extra money on the side, and it just didn't stop. So I kept on after that, and it kept on growing and growing, and that's how it is, and that's
And
how
what's the
I.
name? What's the name of the label?
It's my name, Tara Courtene.
Amazing. And what style is it? Like what colors, what textures?
Well, it's actually all evening wear. So I focus a lot on evening wear, gowns, weddings, bridesmaids dresses, things like that. So yeah,
And obviously with evening, you use a lot of silk, or what are the fabrics that you love?
A lot of lace. So I use a lot of lace, a lot of Duchess satin. There's a bit of everything. You know, some people touch on a lot of different fabrics, you know, unique fabrics, but a lot of sequins as well. So yeah,
Would you
it
say
varies.
what's the cut like? Is it like your silhouette, or is it quite conservative, or is it quite sexy, or is it very elegant, or is it all sorts?
It's all sorts, but I mainly do fitted silhouettes. So it's like mermaid shapes, you know, with high slits, things like that. So yeah.
Okay, amazing. And for anyone that's watching, if they wanted to be able to buy, or do you do bespoke, so tailored to the actual person?
Yes, that's actually how I work. So that's what I do mostly. So when you touched on my fashion house that I wanted to get to eventually in the future, that's when I will be doing ready-made garments. But at the moment, I do one-on-one client. You know, that's how I work with. So I make something according to your body, tailored to fit you. Yeah.
That's amazing. So when will you, eventually, venture out? Like, what is the plans for the future?
Well, at the moment, because of COVID, things are kind of on a standstill. But I mean, as soon as things fizzle down and you know things calm down a bit, then I'm saying maybe possibly next year that I want to start this actual thing and you know my fashion house, my you know.
Where do you want to just stay in South Africa, or do you want to reach, like Milan and Paris, or do you want to be in America? Like, which kind of areas in the world do you want to reach to?
Definitely Europe, definitely Europe, because I mean, yeah, that's where you need to be to make it happen. Um, but yeah, like I need to obviously establish myself completely here because this is my hometown, you know, so I want to do everything in South Africa. And then obviously, as when I become established and people start recognizing me, then I want to take things overseas and obviously get recognized in Europe. That would be amazing
That
because
would be
that's like,
amazing.
yeah,
So
definitely.
how do you find that you are constantly having to refresh yourself in various, I don't know, sorts of education, or like how do you keep renovating your ideas and just keep with the creativity?
You always have to be reinventing yourself firstly, because I mean, if you're not with the trends and you don't, you know, keep up to date with things, then I mean, how are you going to do that in your work? So, firstly, you need to also be, you know, up to date with things, constantly watching the fashion news, you know, seeing what's out there, and I'm always following like other designers. I'm always watching them because I mean, they also, you know, that's your competition, that's your industry. Um,
Who's your
but yeah,
favorite designer?
at the moment,
It
it's a local
changes.
Gert-Jan Coetzee. I don't know if you know him. He's a local designer. He's actually, yeah, he does evening wear and stuff like that as well, bespoke wear as well. So,
And
yeah.
any of the famous cliche ones?
Um, I'd like to say I'm in love with Vera Wang.
I know. I think
Yeah.
classic. I,
Yeah, yeah. I love
um,
the
but
yeah.
which designer would you say you lean towards more, as in their style? Is it this gentleman that you mentioned?
Yeah, he does a lot of he does weddings as well. So he touches on a lot of evening gowns, haute couture kind of styles, the fitted silhouette, you know, tulle, taffeta kind of thing, lace. So he's a long way I want to go. So I want to,
That's who you admire.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
So what would you recommend for other women that are watching, that want to be able to pursue their goals but have fear and think that it's just easier to get a 9 to 5 job instead
Mhm.
of perhaps taking a risk?
Well, I'd say go for it because, yeah, ultimately you want to be happy in doing what you do. And I mean, if it's a passion of yours, then, you know, don't stop pursuing it because Yeah, like yeah, if it's a passion of yours, don't stop pursuing it, because I mean, you will get there. It's a tough industry, but I mean, don't take no for an answer. You know, you're gonna have doors slammed in your face. People are gonna tell you no, but I mean, you don't have to. That's not where you have to quit. You have to keep going, keep yeah, keep pursuing your dream, because I mean, it is a cutthroat industry. If you do give up and you can't handle the doors being slammed in your face, then it's not for you. So
I
yeah.
think that, you know, I think when you are pursuing your dreams, regardless if it's this industry or in another, I think
Mm.
you'll always have someone that says that you can't do it or that
Yeah,
you are not good enough.
always. Yeah.
And do you agree that you have to be so strong-minded and really believe in yourself?
You do. Look, it took a long time for me to believe in myself. Like I've been, obviously it crushes your soul when someone tells you no. And especially when you're young, because I started doing this at a very young age, and obviously being very self-conscious and, you know, not knowing the industry then, it took a lot. And I was crushed, I was hurt, and it took a lot for me to build myself back up again. But that's what builds your character, and that's how you get there. So you will be crushed. So, and I think that's how it builds your self-confidence in your work. And you know, so you're going to be crushed ultimately, but I mean, to be strong enough is just to remind yourself, even if you're crying, you know, and you can't, you find like you can't get back up again, that's okay, because that's what makes you stronger ultimately, and builds that tough skin so that you can continue doing it. Yeah.
Who has been your biggest cheerleader?
Other than my parents, my husband.
I just saw someone comment about your husband, so tell me about his support.
He's been there since day one. In my article, I touched on the fact that we met each other at the right time. I was going through quite a rough time. I think I was second year in at varsity, and he also was in like a very weird space. And if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would have actually continued studying. That's just how, that the place that I was in, yeah, when I met him. So when we met, it was like we motivated each other to continue, and we pushed each other to, and we said like, let's continue this. We're going to make it. It's gonna be okay. And yeah, so ever since then we've been each other's like driving force, and we've always backed each other. Sometimes it gets a bit like, you know, the motivation gets a bit like hectic, but but yeah, we each other's like support system. I mean, I don't think, yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah,
So amazing that you guys have found one another. But I just
yeah.
saw someone write in the comments and say, but Tara, you know, did you ever have, you know, times where you just thought you couldn't do it?
Of course, of course. Like I said, when I was second year, that was a horrible space for me. I almost didn't continue my studies. I almost dropped out, almost failed at a certain point, just because of how rocky my whole situation went. And I felt like I'm not going anywhere. It's not happening for me. People have been telling me no. My lecturers told me they don't like my stuff, and when they tell me I need to redo something, it's like on the last minute, and then I'm stressed, I'm losing my mind, and it's been tough. So I thought many times, this is not for me, I don't want to do this anymore, but I kept on, and yeah, I am today.
But do you agree that when we go through those moments, because it happens to all of us and we still get it and
Yeah,
we'll continue to get it, right? It's life.
yeah.
Like, what do you say to yourself? Do you just let yourself be upset and then think, right, enough, get back on it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, you allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to feel the hurt, allow yourself to, you know, to accept everything, to process it, and then pick yourself back up. And then just think, okay, that's done now. You had your cry. You've now been a victim. Now let's swap things around. Let's make something about, like, with yourself. Let's, you know, pick up the things again.
So is your husband also in fashion?
No, no, he's in the engineering side of things, in the water.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Totally
okay.
close to me.
And do you have children?
Yes, I've got a daughter. Her name is Asia.
Amazing. How old is she?
She is 18 months.
Oh, wow. So okay, that's amazing because we have a lot of mums and I've spoken to a lot of mums through, you know, some businesses that I do, and they say they haven't got time to, you know, work and do their business, and it's impossible. And I'm always like, surely that isn't the case. Surely there are people out there that also are a mum, a wife, and also have a successful business. And I believe you're one of them. So do you think it's possible to be able to balance things?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Like I've been doing that since day one. I've had my daughter with me all the time while I was working as well. So even when she was little, I would like put her in a baby wrap or on my back or something, and I'd work. That's just how it had to be done. So definitely, you can definitely do it all if you put your mind to it. Definitely, it's a
I
mind of a matter.
I love that. So are there any books or anything that you could recommend to people that want to get in the fashion industry, or how does it work with regards to education?
Well, I think actually just okay, social media is the biggest thing right now. So if you're following the right people, first establish, is this what you want to do? Because a lot of people want to do it because they see this whole glamorous lifestyle, you know, like they think it's all amazing, and they don't see the hard work that goes into. First, you need to know if you want to do this. And then I think do some research yourself on the actual courses that you can study. You know, because I mean, obviously there's a lot of technical things you need to learn when it comes to the physical side of things, the manufacturing, and then you get just the theoretical side, which you can, because some people choose to do both, which I did both together. But some people can just do the theoretical side and some can just do the manufacturing. So you need to first establish.
Do you recommend to do both though?
Yeah, I recommend doing both, because I mean, then you've got the business side of things. You can start your business and you can do it on your own. And then you also know what needs to happen to go into the business. So yeah, I recommend doing both, doing the whole thing, the whole
And
course.
how long does that take education wise?
For me, it was 3 years, but some people can study a little bit longer. There's the extra year, and I mean, you can do your masters and all of that. So it's really dependent on the person itself. Yeah.
Okay, right. So that's good, because I know also, especially, you know, we were all in lockdown. It got very scary for some people, and you know, it was really a time to be creative and learn something new. And
Yeah.
if it does happen again, because there are rumors that we're going to go into a second lockdown, I don't know. I hope not. But if that's the case, I think that, I mean, first of all, the time is always now. I think that people say, no, it's not the right time. Look, it is. Everything now. Do it now, because tomorrow's not promised, and we just don't know what's around the corner. So for sure. But, you know, with regards to the business side, because there's the creative and there's the understanding of the technical and there's everything about that. But there's also a business element of whatever it is that we do. And some people are good at it and some people are not. Some people are just creative. So how are you in the business side of it?
Well, I first had to be, well, yeah, I studied business as well. It's part of the whole thing. So that kind of helped, if in a sense. But I think you just need to have a clear mind of where you want to go and how you want to make your money. So if this is how you're going to make your money, then obviously, you know, you need to have a clear head about that. And if you've got someone to help you, that would be even better, you know, like who's a little bit more headstrong in the business side of things. But I mean, I think educate yourself on how to start a business, capital wise. Is it something you want to go in like full force, you know, with regards to a whole lot of stock, or if it's just something you want to start off slowly, you know, work with other people, you know, in conjunction with something like that. So there's a lot of aspects you can actually touch on with regards to business. But where I am concerned, if, like I said, I started out at varsity, I did little bits of things with different people, and that's how I realized I can make money. This can be like my job, my sole income. So I kept on, and therefore like started doing bigger jobs, taking on a lot more, managing my time a lot better, and fitting in a lot more. And obviously they're making my passion my job.
So obviously, you know, your prices to begin with, because I know with myself, when I first started, my prices were like very, very cheap, right? Because I was worried, I was scared, I didn't want to be rejected. I didn't want people to say no, and then I feel that I could never sell. And I think that's a fear that a lot of people, you know, do share in common. So how did you get creeping up to the right price, would you say?
I think once obviously I hit the level of people are like, okay, you are cheap, you are super cheap. Why are you so cheap? Then I started doing my research and I started looking at the brands or the labels that are like me, that do the same thing, or the same style. And I started like comparing myself, and then firstly comparing the quality. And that's how I changed. I started slowly, like, you know, rising my price slowly. I didn't want to be like, bam, okay, 10,000 Rand richer. But I started slowly, and then eventually I got to a place where I had a clientele, and everyone that was loyal understood, and they grew with me. So that's how
Amazing.
that happened.
So it just goes to show for anyone that's listening that, number one, you know, it's okay to feel a little bit anxious about where you have to step in when it comes to pricing. Number two, I think it's really important to do research, find out, you know, what other prices are in accordance to what you're doing. But number three, what is your value? At the end of the day, no one's going to be able to put a price on you. Only you are. If you're cheap, you're saying to life you're cheap. If you're expensive, then you're saying to your life that you're good. Obviously, understand that how many hours are you putting in? You know, what type of detail are you giving it? Is there anything else like you in the market? If so, and you're similar, how much do they charge? I think there's just so many things that people need to really understand before they just go in all guns blazing.
Exactly.
I just saw someone's asked, what about an online store? Is that a good business?
It is a good business. That is if you're doing, let's say, mass production, and it's something that you want to do, like, you know, like, for example, a store. Like any store in the mall, that's mass production. So an online store would be great for that, because that means you don't have rental space. You don't have to splurge on that. You cut a lot of costs when it comes to an online store. So, but obviously for bespoke, that's a little bit different, a little bit more difficult. So yeah, but if you're doing something like a chain store, then that's a really good place to do something, online.
Where is your studio?
I work from home. So that's why my dream is still the big fashion house and everything. Because at the moment I've got my little one still with me, so it's just comfortable, you know, being at home and doing everything at home.
I think it's wonderful. I think that you must feel very comfortable and warm, and I guess that helps so much more, you know, contribution to your creativity to create something wonderful out of a safe space. So I love that. But yes, the goal is for you to, you know, be big and think big, and I'm sure 100% that you will achieve it. So this leads me on to my next question. It's a question that I ask everyone, and that is, if you had a magic wand and you could change one thing in the world, what would it be and why?
Okay. I don't want to be like cliche and say crime, but yeah, definitely. But also women hate, like when women hate on each other, because that's what hurts what cuts a lot of souls. You know what I mean? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but like that's when it kills a lot of dreams, because sometimes, like, I was chatting to someone, and she actually told me she wanted to start studying fashion. It was a younger girl, and she said she asked someone, and the person said to her, no, sorry, you shouldn't be doing it if this is not your, you know, like, it was very cold basically towards her. And I actually chatted to her, and I said, like, you know, we as women need to be kind to one another, because you don't know what you were saying and what it's going to do to the next person and how it's affecting them. So for me, that's a big thing, because a lot of women have been so nasty to me that it's almost like put a stop in certain things that I've done. So it's a very big thing, like women empowerment. Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Otherwise, I would never have started this platform. I believe in it in so much. I also always say that one of the biggest keys to success is to give and to give freely. And I love to see successful women. That's why I want to interview them every single day. I mean, especially because obviously I know that, you know, I think it's Taryn or Jolie. You know, I've got a lot of people that I interview from South Africa, and I love them. I had Quinn Brown, she's an actress. I had Nicole Bezic, who's like the first female champion in boxing, and she's also an actress. I've got Harmony on Monday, who is like 30s and the Forbes rich list for Africa. And I've got some incredible, beautiful people that I'm interviewing from South Africa, which I'm so happy about. And now I'm so blessed to be able to speak to so many beautiful souls who everyone has their journey, everyone has their story. Every single person, even the ones that you think have their life to perfection, you know, that doesn't exist. We all have issues. It's just that some people are very good at hiding it and other people are not so good. But, you know, it's life. You know, life is love, and it's also suffering, it's kindness, it's sadness, it's crying, it's all sorts of emotions. And I think that we should really, you know, embrace it, because we're living, you know, you got to feel every emotion. It's wonderful. And I truly believe that through rejection and through pain and through someone saying no to you, it actually helps you evolve. We need that to be able to grow. Like without it, we wouldn't be able to compare, because us humans can be quite stubborn. Like we need to be told no, like a child, like, no, don't do that. And I think when you look at it from that perspective, you can really start to actually understand emotion and understand that other people are also going through that, and how wonderful it is for you to be able to just support them, regardless of where they're going for a winning streak or a bad streak or whatever it may be. So I totally agree with you. And I just want to say thank you so much for your time. You're an incredibly inspirational and talented young lady who I know you're going to get your fashion house, and I am so excited to stay in contact with you. And maybe when I get married, you can do my wedding dress.
Yay! Definitely.
That's a thought. You never know. I mean, I still have to find the man, but we're working on it. Anyway, my darling, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me and for taking the time to chat to me. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. Massive kiss. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.